If you are a fixed rate payer, you are a floating rate receiver. All payments are calculated using the notional amount or notional principal, whichever we called it, notional amount, and only the net payment is exchanged. For example, suppose notional amount is 1 million. Fixed rate equals 5%. Floating rate for that period is, let's say, 6%. Let me remember the convention of interest rate calculations. I think it's actual over 360, but well, we'll keep it simple. And suppose payment periods are 3 months long, which is kind of typical. So next payment period floating rate payers will pay 6% divided by 4 times 1 million, which is going to be 15,000. Okay, and fixed rate payers will pay 5% divided by 4 times 1 million, which is 12.5. So technically speaking, this is a swap of interest payments. Fixed rate, floating rate payer will pay 15,000, receive 12.5. Okay. Well, there's no point of sending money back and forth. Hence, on net, floating rate payers will pay 15,000 minus what they are promised, 12.5. So they pay a net of 2,500. Or alternatively, fixed rate payers, which is the same thing as floating rate receivers, will get $2,500. For certain quarters, floating rate is going to be less than fixed rate and vice versa. And that's the entire point of the exchange. Okay? With the single currency interest rate exchange, there is no initial or final exchange of the principals. you only exchange the net interest payments. So let's see how this is useful. Suppose you have a $10 million loan with floating interest rate, and let's call it 3-month T-bill plus 2%. My power is going. Obviously, you are concerned about interest rate risk. I should say you may be concerned. That's a decision you're gonna make, but if you want to eliminate that risk, because the way floating rate payments work, current 3-month T-bill rate is, let's find out, market response. Uh, 5.465. That means my first interest payment will be based on that rate. So I would pay 3 months from now I will pay 5.465% divided by 4 times 10 million, and I'm gonna calculate it in Excel, or it's easier with my phone. I mean, we're gonna use Excel eventually, but $136,625. My second, oh, I should, I made an error. Remember, I'm paying T-bills plus 2, so it's 7.465, which is gonna add $50,000 to this, I think. Yeah. $186,625. My second payment depends on what 3-month T-bill yield will be at the time I make my first payment. So we're gonna wait 3 months. I'm gonna make my first payment on the same very day. We're gonna look up what the 3-month T-bill yield is. That's gonna determine what my second payment is gonna be. For example, let's go back to 3-month Treasury yield. All right, currently 5.465, right? Today is 10, so let's look at 7/23. If I had originated this loan in July 23, my first payment is going to be based on 5.426, okay? You know, that's going to be relatively similar, but my second payment now is going to be based on 5.465. Or had I done this 6 months ago, my first payment was going to be 5.064. Second payment based on 542, third payment based on 546. So the rate at which you're going to make the payments is basically T-bill yield 3 months delay. You know, 10 years from now, maybe 3-month yields are even higher. So if they are higher, I'm going to make more payments. If they are lower, I'm going to make less payments. Now, suppose I entered into